Caroline here. Today I'm reviewing the Exceed notebook that you can get at Walmart and doesn't cost that much. I've heard of this notebook from Stationery Nerd, who worked together with Exceed to improve their notebooks, after she gave a very honest opinion of their previous versions of the notebook. I'll link her in the description box below. It's a dotted A5 notebook, comes wrapped in plastic, and has 100 GSM heavyweight paper with 120 ivory sheets. This notebook also has 2 bookmarks, a back pocket, an elastic closure, index pages, and the pages are all numbered. Let's compare the page colors with some notebooks that I have. The Leuchtturm 1917 compared to the Exceed notebook has just 80 GSM paper, while the pages are a lighter ivory compared to the Exceed, which has ivory more leaning towards yellow pages. The Archer and Olive has the heaviest paper with 160 GSM and white 2 off-white pages. I got the Exceed notebook from Walmart for $8.64, which is a good price for people who live in the US, just a driving distance away. But let's see how it holds up with how I typically use my notebooks. Let's move on to the pen test. For that I used my commonly used pens like the Sakura Pigma Micron, fountain pen, Tombow Fudenosuke pens, and a couple more. The brush test I consider my important test, because I like using water in my notebooks. I got to admit, I went pretty harsh on the paper. What I mean by that is, if you rub slightly harder on the paper with water, some paper crumbles. I'm not sure if I explained that well, just correct me if you know the correct term in the comments. Some tests that I did is to layer the brush pens several times over the paper to see if it can hold multiple brush strokes. Another was placing them on the paper first and then trying to blend them with water, and also trying to blend them with a brush pen provided in the Tombow sets, as well as trying to blend 2 colors together on the paper with water. The previous notebooks always failed on that particular test and caused the colors to bleed through. After the brush test, I drew a lotus flower on the opposite side of the pen test, using all mediums that I usually use together in one picture to see and compare how they perform. What I noticed is that the surface of the notebook is smooth, maybe some sort of coating which caused the Sakura Pigma Micron pen to smudge if I don't wait for it to dry. For the application of the colors, I just used my usual method. I also noticed if I went over the same area several times with the Crayola Supertips and the Tombow Dual brush pens, the top layer crumbled, which gave the paper a weird texture. After everything dried, I also noticed harsh lines of the watercolors where there was too much water and the colors gave the paper a cauliflower effect. Let's check the back sides of the paper. I'm actually impressed! Aside from slight ghosting, nothing bled through, and the pages has a slight wave to it, but that is to be expected when using watercolors. I don't see any bleeding. Overall, I really like this notebook. It was able to keep up with the different tests I put it through, aside from the page crumbling if I went over too much with a pen. I really like how it held up with the watercolors and the other pens that I used. The only thing I don't like is that the pages are too ivory yellow. I much prefer lighter pages like the Arch and Olive because it just looks nicer on a picture without much post-editing. And we're at the end of the video. All the materials I used are in the description box below, and thank you so much for watching. Bye!